We are live here on Monday, March 9th. It is 7 p.m. It looks like it's 4 o'clock because this time change has just been an adjustment. Let's just say that. I woke up tired, but I'm loving how late it is. I can actually finish the show and then go walk my 10,000 steps. So, hello, welcome to the Nurture Your Soul Show. I'm Lainey Savante Wilkin here, and I am so glad I took a week off. I was in Savannah, Georgia, having a good time with my daughter who was on spring break. And I am back and feeling refreshed and excited for many reasons because Linda McBee's in the house. And I am going to get right into who Linda is. I'm just looking for my comments section so I can see who is here and then also talk to them. People, hold on. Let me get this going. Okay. So we are here tonight to talk about health from the inside. And that is a topic that sounds so vague, but there's so much where we're going to go in this conversation. And I have a longtime friend, colleague, business associate, kind of started off business associates and became friends. We've been out in other countries together. And she's an amazing healer. She is a student, now graduate of the Center for Intuitive Food Therapy, Food Hot, levels 1 and 2. She's got a background in business, certifications in mental health, functional medicine, and she has been really passionate about a specific pathway she's been doing for healing, nutraceutical wise. And I'm going to bring her on right now, Linda McBee. Let's talk all about it. Yay, Linda's here. Welcome. There she is.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we have become great friends over the years. And goodness, I can't believe it's more than a decade that we've met and worked together in just many different avenues and ventures. And it's been
amazing. With all the different things, you've been pretty consistent. And we'll get to that pathway in a minute. But I also want to mention Linda has a chapter in high vibrational wellness, one of the most popular chapters, I might say. So let me just, read what it is. Cravings, what your body's telling you and what to do about it. And Linda tells a real personal story and then sort of how she kind of came out of it in ways that you can understand cravings. And cravings is a huge part of what we do with intuitive food therapy, because those cravings have messages and meanings and they're telling us something. So we can talk a little bit about that. We'll definitely pull some cards. I think people need it this week, Linda. It's been a heavy week in the world. And we know that as a result of that heaviness on the emotional, the mental, a lot of fear, maybe, there plays a huge havoc on your cravings and a huge havoc on, what your food choices are, don't you think?
Absolutely. Because it's gut health and mental health. And it's just been really...
I think I put that on there. It said show on stage. So I'm going to take that off if that's distracting. Go ahead.
I just didn't know if my internet was unstable. That's why
I was giving you a message.
So it's all good now that I know what it is. But yeah, it has been really, and I've noticed like having to pay attention. What are you eating? What are you craving? Because it is so intense.
Is that a dog? Did I hear? You know what? I don't feel so bad now because now I took my dogs for a big walk. So I'm hoping that they stay quiet while we're doing this. I normally move them out of the room, but I'm like, no, I want them in the room. So we build this show tonight and you as a nutraceutical educator. And, nutraceutical is a word that is more popularized now. And you do nutraceuticals. I do nutrigenomics with my functional genomics. You know, there's a lot of like, because of technology and advances in medicine and advances in nutrition, more things have come out in the world that we can offer people. And so there's just some of these new names floating around. So curious, do you just want to maybe explain or talk about what a nutraceutical educator is? What is it that you do? We'll just get into that.
Helping people understand that different types of food and supplements and things process differently in the body. And with a nutraceutical line, it's more on a lozenge so that it doesn't have to go through the gut and can then process into the cells faster. And what we're finding is people respond a lot faster most of the time too.
That's very interesting. I'm a big proponent, and I tell people about if they're looking for certain supplements, they say vitamins, maybe not through food, but through a supplement, a vitamin supplement, to go for liposomal, because that fat layer that goes around is another way to protect the barrier going through the acidic environment of the digestive system. And so I'm always looking for things that help actual digestion. So that's what it is. So let's get into, you mentioned a lozenge. So you came across a company that was something that really spoke to you, and it is a nutraceutical in the form of a lozenge. And it's sounding from all the years I've known you that this has made a dramatic from a traumatic lifestyle change. So maybe give people a background of what led you up to like finding this lozenge and you're like, this is it. Because I've been following it for many years. Now we just talked offline about another aspect of it. We'll talk about that in a minute with hearts and heart cardiovascular and circulation. So I'm very interested to talk about, and I'm excited. We're going to have you at the longevity retreat in a month from today, April 9th. So maybe start there, background of what your background was like and what led you to this lozenge that you love.
I had a lot of trauma in my childhood, and I buried that and created massive health issues for myself. So foods and I had no clue at the time that like gluten and a lot of that was not my friend. Now, fast forward, I probably, with all the autoimmune issues, I probably was bit by a tick when I was 6 or 7, when I was living with my grandparents. My grandfather had a dozen horses. He would carry around a long cigar and burn the ticks off. But most times when people are bit, very rarely do you find a bullet. That's the tall cell sign that you have been bit by a tick. That is one that carries parasites and that kind of thing, but not always.
This happened to you as a child? So you've been carrying Lyme your whole life and you didn't know it?
After reading everything I have over the years and from studying everything that I have, my conclusion is because I was diagnosed with Epstein-Barr and went to New York, was diagnosed with parasites, many, many different things. And I just thought it was, okay, this was here and this was here. But then after listening to, there's a book that I have on Audible, I'll have to look at later and put it in the chat, that began to reveal that I may have had this because of all of the other symptoms and how the body processes parasites and specifically Lyme disease. And that was many years ago. So that was more than 50 years ago. And so
Wow.
we didn't
Really?
have all of the
No,
studies way back
no.
then that they do today. So people tend to go to a doctor and
For the symptoms, not the cause, the root.
correct.
I got it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
flash forward, you're not feeling well and you're looking for everything under the rock, everything under the sun to get you to get these symptoms in balance. And then you come across something that says, hey, I have a candy or a lozenge and it's going to do all these great things. Like, how did you make the connection of like, what? And then, okay.
I right before that I had tried essential oils. I would put in essential oils in little capsules and swallow them. I tried capsules, you name it. I tried it all because I was just at wit's end of trying to find a solution, from even having a customized supplement based on a cheek swab and looking at 18, but capsules and tablets and a lot of powders, I would actually feel nauseous when I would take them.
Okay.
And then I would try to eat some food to combat the nausea before I tried everything. And so I had no idea if these nutraceutical lozenges would work, but I had been just praying for an answer. And
How
when I
long
got,
were you on them that you started to feel a shift in your energy or your health, improvement in your health?
I wish I would have journaled back 5.5 years ago more than I did, because it was within weeks, days that I started to notice little things. But then within a week or so, that I was like, oh my gosh.
Did they
Uh,
help your hair? Your hair always looks amazing, by the way. Thick
yeah,
and beautiful.
so it does. There is one for that's collagen that
Okay.
has collagen in it. And prior to, my hair used to be really coarse and almost like a broom. I was like,
I love your hair. I've always loved your hair. My
and
husband
everybody
thinks I
wants to
gotta have,
touch.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, everybody wants to touch my hair when they see me in person. They're like, oh my gosh, can I? I'm like, sure, you can touch it. Cause
So when you're talking about nutraceuticals, we're talking about a blend of food as medicine, a lozenge that's primarily based on the phytochemicals of food. Do I have that right?
it's actually botanicals and phytonutrients
Okay.
along with the DNA or negative ions. So yes, absolutely. We have about 88 um, of a list of the botanicals, and it's things like lettuce and blueberries and strawberries and ashwagandha. I mean, there is, but like lettuce cracks me up. I'm like, nuts.
Well, some people are like lettuce, but lettuce has, good fiber and it has, good stuff in it. I I I've known you now, following this pathway, the nutraceutical pathway, for a long time, and you've told me over the years a billion and one success stories, mostly your own and then others. But I found it very interesting that you were just discussing your blood. So let's share a little bit about that, because you have a food. And what is the food in the HRT, by the way, which is the one that you were just discussing?
Well, interesting that you chose that one because it's probably the only box that I have that's right beside me.
Sure it is. Of course it is.
Grape, grape seed, hawthorn, white mistletoe. You cannot buy white mistletoe in the United States, by the way.
That's interesting. Well, hawthorn's amazing, and the resveratrol in grapes has my attention. Huge anti-inflammatory.
Pomegranate,
Amazing. Another cancer crusher and anti-inflammatory.
raspberry,
Mm.
and
Did
strawberry.
all great. The pelargonidin, which is the phytochemical in strawberries. Mm. So those
Now,
are amazing.
we do
So yeah, go
we
ahead.
do have a we do have a blend that is proprietary that has about 45 additional botanicals and phytonutrients in it, but that's just separate ones that are specifically for the HRT.
Well,
And
you're bringing some of those to the. I know you're going to be at the longevity retreat here in Cape Coral, as I mentioned earlier, April 9th through 12th. So, lucky attendees get to try some of these samples of these things. But let's talk about HRT, why I found that interesting when we were just talking offline. And by the way, somebody here, Lana, who is here, who will be at the longevity retreat, is asking you this question. And it says, are these recommended for people that are borderline diabetic?
yes, there is one specific for the pancreas and around diabetes. So yes. And
You
that
guys
brings up
are going to be meeting soon. This is great.
and one of the questions that typically is asked as well is, are there any sugars in it? There are. It's molasses and beetroot. It helps the botanicals, since it's dried, the botanicals are dried and formulated. And there's a whole science. It's a centrifuge and to incorporate the negative ions. I'll send you a video on that if you need the science on that. But that formulates then, because molasses and beetroot help the botanicals to absorb into the body faster with it being mucosal. And of course,
I
it's
am
a
a beet
natural.
fanatic. I have beets every day. Yeah. It's just I know how well they are, how well they are. I know how well they are for the body. All right,
Yes.
get back to HRT. Why are we loving that?
So let me tell you a little of me and what blew me away with this product. Okay. So I have really small veins that love to roll, and very hard to actually get any blood out of me my whole life. I'm 62, and it was, I would literally say when I would go in to give blood, and not to be mean, just to help the person take the time to find the vein before they start poking. And
are you hands or arms?
At that point, I was mainly hands, because with going through Lyme disease and them taking blood all the time, and with being on doxycycline for 4.5 years straight, my body was a hot mess. I did not, people who know me now that knew me back then are like, oh my goodness, you're aging backwards, because you don't look your age now, and you look twice your age 10 years ago.
I love it.
So I would be like, take your time. My veins like to roll. Here's a couple options you can look at first. I would make sure that I drank. I would make sure I did all the things when I went in. And then it would be like, oh, you scare me when you say that. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to stay calm. You stay calm. Just take your time. Oh my goodness, I see what you mean. Da, 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 da. So, but I've also had coworkers that would tell me over my whole life, you should give blood. you're not giving your civil duty if you're not giving blood, if you're not giving back. And I'm so community and giving back and always wanted to do that. And they would try with that really big needle, and my veins immediately collapsed.
19 gauge or something. I know there's gauges.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's pre-HRT.
Correct. So after studying this product, I also saw that it can help if somebody's exercising and they get winded pretty quickly. And I was like, yes, that's me. Walking up a flight of steps and just helping the blood flow better through the body and circulation. And so I started taking HRT. It wasn't one of the ones I took at the beginning, 5.5 years ago. But after studying and learning it, I was like, heart issues run in my family. Having blood flow better through the heart and pumping it is always a much better solution. And so, yes, I'll start taking it. So because this has been fairly recent. So about a year ago, I gave blood and again, my veins collapsed. And I was like, man, I really, really want to give blood. So a couple months ago, because I think every 3 months you can give blood. So I went in and I said to the gal that was taking the intake, I said, I would really love to try to give blood. And I said, but I know that I'm not the easiest to work with. She immediately pulls out this heat it's almost like a little heating pad and put it on my vein. She's like, let me test your vein. So she put right here on my arm and she said, you keep that there. I'm going to work with you. We're going to give blood. I said, okay, awesome. So we go back. She was like, the vein looks really good. It looks like it's big. She was like, I don't know, as far as being small and all of that.
You have to tell me the punchline because I want to get a few more minutes in before we end.
I'm sorry.
So, I'm like, I'm watching the clock. I'm like, I'm sorry. Because there's so many other things I want to ask you.
Anyway, she was able to give blood. I called back afterwards the next day and learned that not only did I give blood and somebody was able to use the blood, but I actually saved a life.
Well, that's a huge end of the story. That's a great finale.
So it blew me away.
Yeah, that is. I want to try one of those now. Do you feel that people who take nutraceuticals use food as medicine? That's of course what my whole platform is as well. Is best one way or the other, or combined with allopathic and combined with Western medicine? Like, you feel like a little bit of everything, or you really feel strongly that we can survive as food, as medicine, and nutraceuticals and everything we know, knowing that what we know? Just out of curiosity, what you think.
I like to use it all, which is why I work with so many people that are open to look at so many options and adding the nutraceuticals in along with it, because food is great. Our nutrition in our food isn't always great, so making sure that we are getting the nutraceutical line that helps with that to eliminate in the gut and liver and go from there.
Well, we missed you. I know we had we're having a monthly book club of each chapter, and you had family emergency. I hope things are better there. But if you have not read this book, it came out in 24, but it still continues to be a bestseller. Linda's in it. I lead it, and there's a lot of great stories. So I highly recommend people to check out her story specifically. If people want to learn more about this product, do you have a website that they can go to?
If you Google my name, lindamcbee.com.
Easy enough. So let's talk about what we have going on in 1 month's time from today. You'll be here in Florida, and we'll be having and we have a couple spots left, by the way. So Lana, who is here or was here, I don't know if she's still here. She's a renowned medium from Boston who's relocating, and she'll be here, and we're very excited to have her take place. You take place. It's like all these wonderful healers are gathering to share in this concept of longevity, because in these days and age we're bombarded with so many different my god, emotional things, mental things, physical things, spiritual things. Life is hard, and we want to be able to show people how people can continue their longevity. You've been said that you're going backwards. Like, let's talk about how we can reverse our age. Our people say, oh, your scalp when you hit menopause is really 90 years old. Like, let's find ways. People are reversing it. That's what the blue zones are doing. The centenarians are doing it. We're going to eat like the centenarians that weekend, and we're going to talk about all these new progressive ways to nourish our body temple. So I'm excited, and now we get to try some of her nutraceuticals for those of you who are going to be coming and spending time with us. But if you do want to join us, it's a mini retreat Thursday through Sunday, April 9th through 12th. And then I'm going to do a smoothie workshop, play shop. People can stay if they're coming for the retreat, or just come for the day. And because you've taken all the courses, and that food has great energy around it. And when you combine it, like you just showed me all the combinations of food in the HRT, if you combine it into a smoothie and create intentional around it, like HRT is intention for what does H stands for? Heart, right? Abbreviated for heart, maybe? Yeah. So you see that you can do, my dog is squeaking, a lot of amazing things just with the first meal of the day. So I encourage everyone to come for that. I don't know if Lisa's here, but as she mentioned, she was coming here. But I wanted to pull a card for you, Linda, because that's what I do on every show with every guest and for the group. And by the way, it was amazing. I pull a card once a month, like a message of the month. And the message was faith. And I pulled that yesterday on Sunday while I was talking to Denise Flood about what is the message that we need to know in March. Now, March is Easter. There's a lot of kind of serious stuff going on in the world right now. And to get that card really touched my heart. And that's our mustard seed. So anyways, any thoughts on that? And then I'm going to pull a card right now for you, Linda. Oh my God. Are you ready?
I am.
I pulled the same card. Can you believe that? I have chills up and down my spine out of 120. This is like a combination right here of both decks. I almost want to cry. Are you kidding?
And it was funny. I was like, and you're going to pull that card. I almost said that. And I'm like, and then when you said you're going to pull a card, I'm like, oh my goodness, she hasn't pulled it yet.
Wow. What does that tell you? You know these studies. Not to put you on the spot. I'll read the card message. But now that's come up 2 days in a row, and we're doing this live.
Yes.
Lana. Oh my God. I'm frozen right now, because this is what I think we also desperately need, is to keep the faith, because we're all going through something. I have to believe that, because I talk to people every single day, including myself. And when I was talking to Denise yesterday, it was like, wow, what is going on? What do we need right in this moment? So does this help you?
Yes, it's incredible. Yes.
Anything you want to share? I'm going to look up, because we also Food Healing Oracle Deck as an app. If I don't have the book handy, which I don't, I usually look up on my app, and it's the greatest thing. I take it everywhere with me. And so I can look right here, and it just pulls up every one of my cards. Well, while I'm doing that, share a little bit about why that card is meaningful for you. I'm blown away.
I am too. But one of the things with heart that has to do with faith is just all of the issues that people have been dealing with the last couple years. What we are seeing is people either experiencing physical around the heart or emotional around the heart. And that has to do with faith and just really trusting what's happening for themselves and just all of the anxiety and the turmoil that's happening, not just this moment, but the last 5 or 6 years. I'm seeing it a lot with people as I talk with them on a daily basis.
All right, this is from the second deck, second helpings. If you have faith as small as the mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Mustard seeds are calling you to have more faith and a willingness to put faith into action. It's time for you to be more confident in what you are hoping for, even when there is no evidence to support it. Oftentimes, when the going gets rough, that is when your faith is being tested the most. You may be feeling that what you want to manifest is impossible. Yet know this, nothing in the kingdom of spirit is impossible. Have faith in yourself and believe that you can have the life and circumstances that you want. It is your divine directive to open up the infinite possibilities that just a little bit of faith can actually get you through anything that is challenging you. So now go move that mountain. I'm just saying, Lisa, Linda, Lana, and Lainey. Wait, all L's? Was that all L's just now? Lainey, Linda, Lisa, and Lana. I don't have to pull another card because I've pulled the mustard seed twice, and that is all of our cards right now. That is
Yeah.
so crazy. When I grew up across the street from these sisters. There were four of them, and they were all L's. Leslie, Lene, Lori, and Lisa. And I was like I was the youngest. I was Lainey across the street. So we were like the five L's on the block. My brother, Larry. It was crazy. But that just happened now, too. I'm like, oh, my God, that was like my childhood.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm having faith that this was all divine. And
Yes.
my heart would wish Lisa to come back because she came to the longevity retreat a couple years ago. So I'd love to have her come back again. But in any case, I think that is the message of the moment. And
Yes.
you can't really top that right now. So, Lisa, if you want another card, hit me up later. But I think that faith in everything. Linda, does that speak to you? Is that a good way to end the show?
It's a wonderful way to end the show because it's the core and you've drawn it 2 days in a row.
Indeed. Now, it's funny. I do a live every month. Like I do a live in the High Vibe Wellness Tribe, which is free to anyone who wants to join this group. And I had not done my message, and it was the 9th. And I'm like, I just hadn't felt like the right message. Now I'm going to finish our show and go in and do a message because now I'm fired up. Everybody, thank you for being part of this. Thank you, Lana. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Lainey. And if you do want to learn more about our longevity retreat, another L, join us. You can go on our website at CIFT official.com. Look up Linda McBee. She's all over giving presentations and talks and sharing her beautiful lozenges. Sometimes we call them healthy DNA candy, right? You call
We
them
do.
that? Yeah. And I look forward to trying the HRT. And thank you all for being here. And we'll see you the next time, ma'am. Share this loud and proud and far and wide on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. All right, Linda, stick around. Hold on. Bye, everybody.